which Kernel, that's the name of the fan base now, who suggested Spookies?
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron?
Aaron.
Okay, Aaron's a grumpy man in a jean jacket who runs a video store. And we like Aaron, so there you go. Night Owl?
Night Owl. Go to the website, nightowl.com.
Yeah, they're very cool.
You went to his store, right?
I bought the movie Delicatessen, which I've never seen before.
Let me know when you watch that, because I love that movie.
It's a French crazy movie, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Jean-Pierre Junot and whatever the other guy's name is, they made that in Amelie, right?
Yeah, this one's super dark. All the characters in this building, you're going to be like, this movie's amazing. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's weird because I knew this movie was dark, and then the next movie they did was City of Lost Children, and then they did Amelie, which is not dark at all. I mean, it
has like elements of darkness.
It's got a streak, but it's a very positive movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jean-Pierre Junot did Alien Resurrection, which, when you separate yourself from caring about Alien, it's a fun movie. But if you care about Alien as a mythos, you'll be like, this movie fucking sucks because it's insane. But it's good. It's good, right? Have you seen it? It's good.
It's good. I've only seen it once, though.
It's fucking bananas. But I mean, come on. This is the fourth one. You know what? By the fourth sequel, many horror franchises are in space. Alien's already in space. So you can't have Alien 4 in space. They're all in space. So instead you just go fucking bananas with it. Have Winona Ryder be a cyborg. Fuck it. You know?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, by the way, spoiler for Alien Resurrection.
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. How long has it been? 2 months?
Yeah.
Damn. Flies by when you're fucking famous.
Well, is that what happened? I guess. Neither one of us calls ourselves famous.
No.
However, the last 2 months, I was going around the country showing our movie and meeting fans, and you were busy gaining 20,000 Instagram followers and getting in the paper for scandals from 20 years ago. So.
Yeah, so I guess hello to all the new kernels that are now here.
Yeah, so anyone new who's listening because you started following Shandi to see how she's going to use this newfound lease on life or whatever you want to call it. Her, what? God, the word's right on, was right, that's right. You were redeemed? Were you redeemed? Were you vindicated? I don't know what you call that. But do you feel like whatever the word is, the documentary did that? Did it absolve you or help you or whatever? I can't find the right word.
I think it just allowed people to know more of the production side of the show that they didn't know about. But vindicated was a good word to use because it showed that Tyra and the main producer, Ken, are just totally oblivious and won't take any accountability for anything that happened, which is what I've been saying for 20 years. And now everybody got to see it, and they're still doing it. So vindicated. Good word.
Right. And in my eyes, you know, we mentioned the last episode when you and I had a dalliance or whatever. So what I saw then and what I've seen now as your friend and stuff is that I think you maybe hated yourself a little bit. And I was hoping maybe now you don't because it was pretty much not your fault. And maybe you kind of knew that, but now it's like everybody knows that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that correct at all in that observation?
That's super spot on because I did take complete responsibility for the entire situation.
Sure.
Being naive about how production on a reality show is.
They took advantage of you.
They took advantage of the whole situation.
Right.
And unfortunately, they got exactly what they thought they were going to get.
Yeah, yeah. They took advantage of you and whoever that dude was. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They took advantage of both of you.
Yep. Really fucked up.
When you and I were kind of doing whatever, you know, there was a point where you like wanted me to watch it and it was weird and we watched a little bit of it then stopped and I felt like it was because you felt like you needed me to see that you sucked or something. You know what I mean? So that's what I've kind of thought, that maybe in the back of your head you hated yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That's part of it.
Now I was hoping maybe that is stopping, you know? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe just really wanted me to leave you alone, and you're like, well, maybe if I show him this, he'll stop.
Look how shitty I am. Go away.
Nah, yeah, exactly. But you know what? I never thought that. I mean, I always just kind of thought, well, shit, that sucks, you know?
Yeah, it sucked. So that happened, and a lot of people found us.
Mm-hmm. And also, so I was out all over the country showing the Whitest Kids You Know's animated movie Mars. So it's possible we have newfound fandom from that. Because Sam and I were at every screening. Well, there have been additional screenings now, but we were at the first 8 of them and did Q&As along with our director. Savan Nigerian was at most of them. Zach was at 1 or 2, and Darren was at a couple. We did the old school Whitest Kids thing we've done for many years, where we stood around afterwards and met everybody who wanted to meet us. Or everybody who thought they wanted to meet us and then met us and realized, like, I don't think I really wanted to meet those guys. But anyways, but so in doing that, I've met a lot of Urnfullapopcorn fans, and a few people said it was their favorite podcast, and I was like, here's my psychiatrist number. So.
I went and saw the movie while you were here in Brooklyn, and shout out to the very nice person that confirmed the row of my seat that I was in that said they liked the show.
Really? They worked at the theater?
No. They were just like sitting at the beginning of my row, and I was like, where do I go? She goes, oh, love your podcast. Yeah, you're in the right row. I was like,
oh, cool.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome.
And I just fucking walked away.
Well, what I love is that, in my mind, a Whitest Kids fan and a horror movie fan are a very easy thing to intersect, right?
Yeah.
And so that makes a lot of sense to me. What I absolutely love, and it has happened a couple of times, is people will write me, or I did meet, I think, one girl that said this in person, that was like, my 2 favorite things in the world were Whitest Kids You Know and America's Next Top Model. And so I love Urnfullapopcorn. I was like, you are a unicorn. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I'm sure, yeah, you could let people like things, of course. People could enjoy things. But it's just very strange to me that your 2, like, favorite shows would be our 2 shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because our 2 shows are very different. The level of attractiveness is at the same on each one, you know?
That's like, my 2 favorite shows are Kids in the Hall and The Bachelor.
Right.
Like, okay.
So now it's been a hiatus, and we're back. And so the last time you probably heard from us is Shandi in February did a drawing to see, once again, like we did last February, to see, I hate saying the name of that month. I'm glad we didn't do any episodes that month. February? They're both correct, but both sound like fucking, they feel like garbage coming out of my mouth.
February.
I feel like my face is melting whenever I say that. Like my tongue is just about done working. Anyways, so you did this thing where you picked a movie out of user. It's like we're a drug. Listener suggestions, Kernels. Our fans have named themselves Kernels, like you said.
Yeah.
So you chose from Kernel suggestions, and so that's the movie we're going to talk about today, which is Spookies.
Spookies.
We'll get more to that in a little bit, but we do have more ideas. I think in April, since it's both of our birthday month, another phrase I don't think I say correctly, but it's our birthday month for both of us. Shandy's is before mine, but my idea was that we're each going to take a sub-genre that, or whatever, that of horror movie that we think the other person isn't, or the other person admits they don't know much about. And the other one of us does, and we will pick a movie. And you already watched Deep Red, which is actually going to be my choice for Italian horror, but there's more. No. There's more. And I think you should pick, I mean, okay, because I don't want to make assumptions, but Spookies, to me, is the kind of movie of which you are an expert and I am not.
Even though I've never seen this until last night.
Right, but you just like texted me the other day about some crazy ass movie with Klaus Kinski you watched, and that was from the 80s, right?
Oh, it was so good.
What was it called? Hallway or something?
It was called Crawl Space.
Okay, so Hallway was not super far off. I have a crawl space. That's what you have when you don't have a basement.
Klaus is just I'm in your hallway.
Yeah. But dude, you know what? If you had a horror movie called Hallway and Klaus Kinski was in it, I mean, that's how you promote it. This summer, Klaus Kinski is in your hallway. And people be like, oh shit, because that guy was fucking crazy.
He has really, really beautiful eyes, though.
Yes, yeah, in a creepy face.
Mesmerizing as shit, and he is like flirting in this movie that I just watched, the Crawl Space movie.
Yeah.
And like pursing his lips and just looking, and I'm like, this man is not attractive, but there's just something about him. He's very charismatic.
Yeah. I'm sure he got laid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I would have been like, hey, what's up?
What up, Klaus?
What's up, Klaus?
Klaus. And he was, he was friends or frenemies with Werner Herzog. That had to be just being in the room with them. I know there's a documentary about them together, but like, that had to be something else. I just wish he would have lived long enough to also have been a Star Wars villain like Werner Herzog got to be. I mean, Werner Herzog, the first season of The Mandalorian, when you have scenes with Werner Herzog and Baby Yoda, that's like, this is why they invented film cameras.
And then throw Klaus in there. Jesus.
Yeah, and then have Klaus Kinski in there as some kind of like, I suppose he would be a Jedi. Or he would, he'd be a great, like, dark, evil Sith guy. Like, like the Emperor, right? He'd be good at that. But he probably wouldn't even do it because it wasn't arty enough or something, So, he did show up in some spaghetti westerns. But anyways, Klaus Kinski. So okay, that's all to say that I feel like this kind of thing, like Spookies, is something you know a lot about, is like 80s movies that are lesser known. Like, I think a good way to say it, video store movies. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When we were kids, they used to have stores, and one of those kinds of stores they had was video stores, and you could rent them, and you would walk by and see all the VHS boxes and be like, whoa, and especially the horror section, especially in the late 80s and early 90s, the horror section was amazing because all the covers were great. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like you are more familiar with those movies because when you were a kid, you and your family would go rent those, you and your sisters or your dad or whatever.
Yeah, I was allowed to get a movie and a Nintendo game for the weekend.
Hell yeah.
So we would get it on Friday, and then we'd have to return it by Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Most of the VHS tapes, I would get because, one, the cover looked cool. Mm-hmm. And then I would read the back of it and go, all right, can I get this? And a lot of times my mom didn't really give a shit what the movie was. Like, I remember I wanted to watch the movie Kids, not knowing what it was about at all.
It's about kids like me.
And, the first scene is like two teens fucking, and my mom was like, turn it off. You're not watching this. And I was like, well, get out of the room. I'll watch it by myself. Which she let me do. I mean, my mom was like...
Whoa!
Yeah.
How old were you? Well, when did Kids come out? So, Kids came out 95, so it wouldn't have been on video in 96. So you were 13, 14 in 1996?
Yeah,
okay.
I was a freshman in high school.
So you were much older than however old some of the kids are in it. Because I just remember... I mean, that video ends with, like, Rosario Dawson, like, pantsless on a couch realizing she might have AIDS now, right? Isn't that how that movie ends? I haven't seen it in a long time. Jesus. Yeah, that movie is... rough.
But
that's funny.
Not to watch with my mom.
No. Well, as we've talked about, I'm sure we talked about before, how I had, 5-6 years ago, I saw Eyes Wide Shut for the first time in a while, and it unlocked this memory that I saw that with my mom.
Oh, my God.
That's a bad movie to see with your mom, but Kids is worse. Right? Because it's it's more graphic. Well, I mean, Eyes Wide Shut is pretty graphic, but I mean, I think Kids is a little, Kids is more disturbing. I think
really
than Eyes
Wide
Wide Shut.
Up.
Yeah, and Eyes Wide Shut is fucked up. I mean, they're both. Look, you shouldn't watch either with any of your parents.
No.
But I watched Eyes Wide Shut in the theater with my mother and her friend Martha. I sat between them, I think, and it was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, 18, and the first shot of Eyes Wide Shut is naked Nicole Kidman, which parts of my 18-year-old body were like, hello! And I'm like, this is so fucking awkward. And then it didn't stop being awkward for 2 hours.
Did your mom know what it was about?
No, we were in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We were visiting a school that I did end up attending there, and her friend Martha lived there. And I was just becoming a film dork at that point. And I was like, Stanley Kubrick's new movie.
Ah.
That's as far as it went.
Oh.
She's like, oh, I'm like, because my mom had once told me about seeing 2001 in the theater. I was like, this is the same guy, Mom. She's like, okay, cool, let's go. And that's all, that was all the research we did. I mean, I knew that Tom and Nicole were in it, and I think I knew it'd be sexy, but I didn't really think it through. And then, like, Jesus Christ. So, but again, I think kids would be the weirder choice. So that's all to say is that you were able to get those kind of movies from the video store. And so, like we said, a lot of horror movies had awesome box art. And whether or not they're accurate is another discussion that we can have while we get more into Spookies. But so you were allowed to get those movies. So I feel like you know about more stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so too. Because you didn't really get into horror movies till later in life, so... Right.
So when video stores were pretty much gone. We still had one here, but it was on the way out. We had an indie store here that was pretty fucking awesome. Anyways, so I got to see, at least for a little bit of time, some of my TV show on, like, the employee picks on the shelf at a video store, which was always kind of a secret dream, you know? So,
cool.
Yeah, you know, and that's not something you get to see anymore, really, very often. Although at video stores, they do, you know, some. Shout out, by the way, while I was traveling across the country, I did try to go to a few independent places and stores, and especially in Austin, I went to 2 record stores. Fucking shit. One was named something and one was named something else. One was called End of an Ear. And then there was a bigger one. Yeah, what a great name. There's a bigger one called, I'm sure I can just look it up quick and it'll pop right up because it's like the most famous one. Waterloo. Okay. So I went to Waterloo and I went to End of an Ear. And in both cases, I talked to employees and they were very cool. Waterloo, a girl who worked there came out to me, talked to me. I think her name was Ava. So if you found this, Ava, you're cool. Thank you for saying hi. And she actually didn't know about the movie. And I'm like, I'm here with the movie, and told her all about it. Even though I thought we were sold out, she ended up getting a seat.
Whoa.
So she actually was able to see it. Yeah, so that was cool. But so when I met her, we were at this record store. She had a price gun in her hand. She's like, oh, you're Timmy, da-da-da. We talked for a second. I'm like, so do you work here? And she holds up the price gun like, yeah.
Just randomly, she's like, that's just my thing. I just carry around a price gun everywhere I go.
That was the joke she made right after that. She's like, I just go around town just doing this. I'm like, okay, cool.
That could be somebody's tick. Like, just
yeah, sure, why not? Everybody's got a kink.
Shit.
But in both cases, I went to those places. Fuck music. I went there to look at the video sections, right? Mm-hmm. And so in some of those cases, they had employee picks. You know, I tried to not go into any chain shit when I'm out and about because I have that stuff at home. So shout out to everybody I met at different places, and every employee at Alamo Drafthouse. That's all. The theaters that we were going to screen our movie at, they were all Alamo Drafthouses. That company's been bought by Sony, and there's a lot to be said, good and bad, about that and about that company as a corporate entity now. But the employees, the people that work at these places, every single one of them I met at, 8 different ones from coast to coast, were all fucking awesome people.
Yay!
And most of them sell the banana bourbon milkshake. Jesus fucking Christ. Because, it's like a day and a half worth of calories, but oh yeah.
That sounds so good.
It's delicious. I had it like 3 times on that tour. When they started selling milkshakes, originally it was the $5 milkshake as a nod to Pulp Fiction, but you know how prices are now, so now it's just the milkshake. Because it costs like $10 probably. So.
Oh man.
But today we're talking about Spookies, which is a very serious film. Not. It's from Spookies was released in 1986. And did you happen to do any research? It's okay if you didn't. I'm just curious.
No, but it was not what I was expecting at all.
What did you think it was going to be?
I just thought it was going to be like some haunted house, like a bunch of kids running through a haunted house. That's what I thought.
That's a good guess. I just from the cover and the name, I knew it'd be a horror comedy, you know, or like spoofy. Spookies would be spoofy. Just because, like, the way the logo even comes up, it's, like, cool, but it's, like, you can tell it's not quite serious. You know
it looks like the fucking Goonies font.
It does. It does, and it has a skull dotting the I, and I think Goonies does, too.
Yeah, same shit.
So, yeah. And so I did do a little research, and it's kind of fascinating. So check this out. This is just from Wikipedia. Spookies started out as a feature film entitled Twisted Souls. And when the film starts, it says Twisted Souls Productions, right? So Spookies started out as a feature film titled Twisted Souls, and it started shooting in summer 1984. So the original Twisted Souls footage consists of all the travelers who arrive in 2 cars and all the monsters and effects they encounter within the house. The monsters include the demon Ouija girl. We'll get into all these, but I'm just telling you the production story. The monsters include the demon Ouija girl, the Muckman, the Spider Woman, the Snake Demons, the Hallway Demon, the Grim Reaper, and the first set of zombies, okay? So then in 1985, the financial backer hired another person to direct more footage. And so that's when they shot the stuff with Creon, the old man guy, and his wife Isabel, the werecat, the kid Billy, the drifter guy, the witch, and that Corda, the weird little kid in the hood. And the, the little kid. Yeah. And so they shot all that. And so they then kind of combined it all. But anyways, so I don't believe in bad movies, like I've said a million times. However, I get disappointed when it feels like a movie didn't have enough care put into it.
Yeah, it does feel discombobulated.
Yes, I felt that way about this. And then when I found this out, it makes total sense. Because it's like 2 different groups of people shooting 2 different parts of the movie and then smushing it together, So it's kind of an unholy mutant, just like their son.
They didn't talk to each other at all.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's 2 different directing teams, So it's like, What the hell? So is there a story to this? Here's the thing. Is I was really having problems with my ADHD this morning, so I don't know if I caught stuff or if it just wasn't there. My guess is it wasn't there, but I get this part. Spooky starts with a little boy running through the woods and going to this creepy house with a cemetery. I don't really know why. He runs into a drifter. The drifter looks a lot like my Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike, my dad's younger brother. My dad and his siblings would call Uncle Mike Snotnose. And then Mike got a doctorate, and so now he's Dr. Snotnose. Nice. But anyways, so this guy looks like Dr. Snotnose. But, so this kid encounters this guy. Doesn't the guy already, know his name or knows that he's like, how old are you? 13? You're not 13. And then he figures out that it's Billy's birthday, right?
I went, it's his 13th birthday, of course.
Yeah.
Just like in People Under the Stairs, where it's like,
oh yeah,
it's his 13th birthday.
Right.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. Totally. And then that's when the kid's like, well, the guy kind of guesses at it, basically, that your parents forgot your birthday, so you ran away. Mm-hmm.
Poor kid.
Yeah, and so then the kid runs away from this guy. That guy gets killed by something that we've seen creeping around the woods.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. Okay, so this thing that kills this Uncle Mike character, it shows up later, and at different points appears to be a cat person, a werewolf, I don't know, maybe a vampire, a pirate, and a cowboy. Right? He's got a hook hand. He's got spurs like a cowboy does. Did you catch all that? What the fuck is going on with this guy?
Yeah, I went, what is happening? What is going on in the costume department on this? Because they're like, just throw everything on him.
I don't think there was one. I think I think they just had a box of stuff. I have a box of Halloween stuff, and in some years when I don't have a costume put together, I just throw some shit on.
Yeah. Throughout the movie, I just kept going, what are these fucking teeth on all of these things?
Yeah.
It reminds me of a saber-toothed tiger. Because of the way it extends and how thick they are. And then I watch everything with closed captions because sometimes I have hard of hearing from DJing for so long. I have tinnitus. So I'm like, I always have to have closed captioning.
Mm-hmm. I had closed caption on for this too because the audio was not great. So
yeah, that too. At one point when that guy was on, he was sitting next to, what's his name? Creon?
The bad guy? Creon, yeah.
Yeah. And the closed caption said purring. The guy was purring. So I went, maybe he's like a tiger, vampire, demon man?
Cat person. They mentioned him being a cat or something too, but I don't understand why he has a hook hand.
Yeah, the hook hand.
You don't get an explanation about him. They never talk about him.
No.
He's just
and
there.
I was like, okay, if it's a cat, is that his familiar? Because he's a sorcerer, right? The crayon guy, he says that.
Yeah,
he's
a sorcerer.
And like witches have familiars. I was like, so maybe that's his familiar.
Sure.
I guess. That's just me giving too much
credit. That's you being too nice to the movie. Because I was good, like, because okay, so also, but before we see the little kid, it opens up on a great visual that they use later, which is a stone grave pulsing, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh, that was cool. I was like,
and then they show,
what's in there?
Yeah, exactly. It's like pulsing, and it's clearly just made out of rubber or something, but it's a cool effect having it just pulse like that. And then you have the kid, and he meets this random drifter who gets murdered right after he talks to the kid. The kid runs through the graveyard. He sees a grave with no name on it. I forget what it says, something else on it, but it says 1972 to 1985, and this was shot in 1985, so that would make whoever's in there 13. So I was like, oh, it's his grave!
No.
And then later, this wolf cat pirate buries the kid alive there.
Oh my god, that is so freaky.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe this movie is going to be more serious than I thought. Maybe this movie is like a little crazier, a little more dangerous than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, because they're killing a kid, like right in the beginning.
Yep, but I was wrong about that. Okay, so then we see two cars of people. I was confused for a long time about the relationship between Megan and Peter. I thought it was a father and daughter.
Oh, yeah. It took me a long time to go, were all these people, was it like a high school reunion that they were at or something?
I don't know. They don't explain it, do they? That's what I'm saying. Did I miss that, or did they just not say what they're doing?
Megan makes some comment, like somewhere towards the end when everyone's getting murdered, where she's like, I'm so sorry I grew up with these people.
Right. Yeah. And so Peter must be her, from what I could tell, much like older boyfriend or husband. Yeah. Because I thought it was her dad.
That's what I thought at first, too.
I thought her dad was driving his daughter to go party with her friends who he didn't trust, so he was coming along.
Yeah, I was just confused by the whole thing.
And then the cars, like, stop because there's a tree in the road. And they're like, well, let's go party over there, pointing at the scary house that the kid was at and the gravestones and all that stuff. So it's like they were going to party somewhere, and because of a tree in the road, they're like, we're throwing all these plans away. We're going to go into this house. Like, that's as far as I understood the plot to be, right?
Yeah, I went.
Okay.
What's happening? What's happening?
And then meanwhile, we're cutting to this weird old man named Creon, who's in a basement with a beautiful bride in a coffin. And he's talking about how he's going to bring her back to life, but in order to do that, he's going to kill a bunch of people. Is basically what he says.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
The shot of her, the really very close-up shot of her, was really, really good.
Yeah.
And she looked great. And I was like, damn.
She's a beautiful lady.
There were like moments like that where I went, okay, maybe this movie's not going to be so fucking bizarre.
And stupid.
But...
yeah. But no, but one of the only kind of really clever things about this movie involves a bride later on in the story, and I'll mention that. But because I was actually not expecting where it went with that. So that was cool, right? And we can talk about that later. But so he's in this house, and like Shandi said, he's a sorcerer. He's got some sort of power that's going to draw people there. Like before the boy got buried alive, he was in the house and like thought he saw his own birthday party. So he thought like his parents, they did remember, and they were throwing him a surprise birthday party, dude, in some fucking random house.
That was another thing that I went, okay, this movie might be cool because the birthday party scene was fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah, the robot toy was weird. A robot toy walks by, and he picks it up, sets it on a chair, does something else, comes back. Robot toy is gone, and now it's doing the same thing it was doing before, walking around the room.
And the little baby doll.
Yeah.
And then just like the candles lit on their own.
Yes.
I went, why is this kid not running out of his house? Like, this is so fucking scary right now.
Yeah, totally. But he's like, it's my party. And also they've shown a little person in a brown hooded cloak running around. And that reminded me, we need to do a Phantasm episode eventually.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, because there's a brown hooded little weirdos in that too. But one thing during this birthday party scene that a lot of horror movies do, whenever there's like a creepy party scene in a horror movie or sometimes just a thriller, whatever, there'll be like a cake there, right? And why do suspicious cakes always have scary lettering?
I don't know.
It's like, why don't they at least try to make it look normal, right? Because if this is supposed to trick somebody, why does it have like blood red frosting that looked like it was written with a left hand by a right-handed person? You know, like, happy birthday, you know, like, it's like I would see that cake of like, oh, this is a fucking trap. I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, it's a surprise party. But then after a couple minutes and nobody pops out, wouldn't you be a little bit freaked the fuck out?
But he does leave. He eventually does leave.
Yeah.
And that's when the guy catches him and buries him alive.
Happy birthday, kid.
And at that point, I was like, what is the plan? Like, what is this plan? You know?
I went, that kid is having the shittiest fucking birthday.
He really is. His parents forgot it, so he ran away. Then he meets a drifter that looks like my uncle, and then he goes into this house and gets trapped and ends up being buried alive. Like, I thought my 13th birthday sucked just because I got a new CD player, and the CD I got was Billy Joel, River of Dreams.
Okay, so the little kid says to that drifter guy, he's like, you know, I got big plans.
Yeah.
Big
What's his
plans.
plan?
I know. And I went, what fucking plan did I have at 13?
Yeah, I didn't have any plans.
I wasn't planning anything.
You know what my plan was? When am I going to be in bed again so I can jerk off because I just figured it out? You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be great. That's my plan. You know what I mean? Either that or reading comic books. That was my plans. Like, what? And it's funny because this kid has some big plan we never find out about. And we never know what the other people are planning to do.
Yeah. Just don't.
And we don't really understand what Creon's plan is. We know he wants to, like, bring his wife back to life. And we don't really know exactly how all the stuff that happens does that. But anyways... So, you know, obviously, so the kid's buried alive, and the movie starts out on a pretty crazy foot there, but then it gets kind of into territory that I've seen tread on before, a kind of comedy-ish horror in a house. It's very House 2, very Bloodbath at the House of Death, or whatever that Vincent Price movie is called. There's a movie from the 80s called Frightmare that is very similar to this, so... Witch Trap too, from I think the early 90s. But anyways, the people are in the house, they come upon some things, they're like, oh man, and then crazy shit starts. People get possessed, but you know, it's almost not even worth going over the plot points. But the thing that makes this movie enjoyable is the sheer amount of creatures and gore effects, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Some of them are really good.
Yeah, I wrote that down a lot.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Like, whoa, that's really cool. Like when the heads would like split open, or when Creon's big old bulging veins on his forehead and shit. Like, that was so cool.
Yeah, it's like he's using his powers, and so his vein pulses, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, bulging, pulsing, farting.
Okay, the farting thing, yeah. So at one point, like, we can talk about the characters, because the characters are basically taken out of a box of stock 80s horror characters.
Oh my god, yes.
The thing is that's good to do, right? I have no problem with that. But what's fun is when a movie takes elements you're familiar with and maybe puts a little spin on them. This movie doesn't do that part. It just takes them and uses them. And I mean, so you got Duke, the tough guy, who's wearing some kind of ridiculous outfit that's like black vinyl with white tubing all over it.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was.
And then his girlfriend, Linda. And look, I don't expect to see boobs in every horror movie, even every 80s horror movie, right? Even though it's a common thing. And I don't think that just because a woman is dressed provocatively that you're supposed to see her boobs or that you will. But for some reason, they just really seem to kind of have a focus on Linda's boobs and you never see them. Like they wanted to and didn't. Do you know what I mean? She was always nipping out and had like massive cleavage. And I'm like, I feel like they're going to go into this.
Yeah, you know, they kept going boing, boing, boing.
Yeah, so I thought maybe...
She was very pretty, too. So.
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe they'll have some boobs in it. But they didn't, which is fine. Yeah. But it's just funny because, like I'm saying, they're all kind of fitting into the mold of typical 80s movie characters. And I bet that was supposed to be the lady who gets killed when her boobs are out. But, and then there's these snobby people.
Yeah, the preppy people.
Yeah, and none of them are fantastic actors, but the guy playing her husband, David, that his acting was fucking awful.
Oh my God.
And I was so happy when he died, because like, oh my God, shut this motherfucker up, you know?
Oh, her name's Adrienne.
Adrienne.
Yeah.
There's Megan and Pete, who, like I had said, seemed like a father and daughter, but apparently they get it on, so I don't know. And by the way, we don't really find out what happens to them.
Well, then you got Carol, who, of course, you have to have the clairvoyant one.
Right.
Because she's like, oh, this house.
And then there's another couple who we don't get to know very much because obviously they're the first people to get killed. And then you have Rich.
I love Rich.
Oh my God. I hate him so much that I love him. Because he's like the funny guy, the wacky guy. And there are scenes, there'll be scenes going on where the characters talk to each other and they'll just cut to a shot of Rich standing by himself with his puppets like going, wow. And I'm like, I think they shot all those later and just put him in here. You know what I mean? To like pad out the runtime of the movie or something.
Randomly threw them in there.
Yeah.
I kept trying to figure out what was on Rich's t-shirt, and then I realized it's a photo of himself with a puppet.
Yeah, which is amazing. That's amazing. That's probably when I started to turn the corner on Rich. I'm like, okay, this guy's so obnoxious that it's kind of great.
The fact that, like, in the beginning when shit starts to kind of happen to everybody,
yeah,
they're realizing, like, oh, we're never going to leave this fucking house because we're all going to get murdered.
Mm-hmm.
He kept a beer in his hand wherever they were going, and
yes.
then for the rest of the time he's on screen, he had a beer in every jacket pocket.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I mean, I would probably do that too, right? And although Megan later says, I know all these people from college or whatever, like, I still am like, how are all these people friends? Like, none of them like each other at all.
No.
Like, you got the four couples, and there's no, like, this guy from this couple's friends with this guy from that. No, everybody kind of fucking hates each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So they find this weird shit. It looks like a really nice deluxe Ouija board pointer, which it turns out to be, because then they find what kind of seems to be a Ouija board in a closet held by a skeleton kind of thing. And Duke's the jockey party dude shithead. And so he's like, this is a real dead body. Later he's calling people bitch and stuff, of course. He sucks. You don't deserve your girlfriend's fantastic rack, sir.
Not at all.
Not at all. She should take that stuff somewhere else. And she seemed like a nice lady. But anyways, and maybe she lived. I don't know. She's one of the couple characters at the end. I'm like, I'm not sure what happened to them. But anyways, so of course, the clairvoyant one, Carol Voyant, that was a bad joke. Anyways, she's like, oh, this is like a Ouija board. And so they take it and they find the weird pointer and they put it on it. But it's way more complex than a Ouija board.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool idea, actually.
It is cool that this sorcerer guy is kind of manipulating them through the Ouija board. Because, like, they'll ask it questions and then it'll answer and they'll show him. And that's when his vein pulses and he's, like, controlling it and answering, saying the answers. And here's another clever thing that made me think the movie was going to be cooler. Is so Adrienne, the annoying kind of British lady, they're like, I don't believe this. Ask it how old I am. Because you don't know how old I am. Again, how are they friends? They don't even know how old each other are. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, so Carol's like, how old is she? And it goes to 24, right? 2 and 4. And they're like, oh, that is my age. You didn't know. That's so crazy. And then what I love is they're like, how old will Carol be when she dies? And the answer is 24 again. They're like, what the fuck? And then I don't quite catch what happens after that. They ask it some more questions, but at some point, it just possesses Carol, right?
Yeah. Carol asks, are we ever going to get out of this house alive? And it says no. And then she, like, becomes, like, this weird saber-tooth demon, old, decrepit.
We could make a shorter answer. She becomes a ripoff of a Deadite from Evil Dead. Right? I mean, come on. It's very, very similar, right?
God.
But she does, and she freaks out on people. She kind of shoves people around, then she runs away with the Ouija board, right?
So this crayon is this like sorcerer who's kept this lady alive by killing a bunch of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
How strong is he really if he's not really doing any of the killing?
Yeah, he's just taking people over and doing weird magic shit.
He's making other people do it all for him.
Well, we find out that he is really not much of a good man at all.
No.
So it's kind of all leading that way, I think. In fact, even though I wasn't super wild on this movie, I would like to watch it again because there's just things I think maybe that would make it more interesting a second viewing. But anyways, so that's when they're like, oh shit. And then whatever the second couple is, what are their names? I don't even know what they're... Lewis Wilson.
Oh, yeah. So Lewis gets eaten by the earth, but that was cool, and his name was burned on the tombstone.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, that was cool. And then they're like, oh my God, because there's like zombies outside rising up out of the ground at the same time. There's zombies running around. And so they're like, oh shit. And so that's when they stay inside the house. They're like, we're all going to die here. And that's when I would be like, okay, I'm going to put a beer in every pocket of my jacket.
Uh-huh.
That's when I would be like, well, fuck it. If we're all going to die here and we're going to walk around and probably get picked off one by one by demons or Jasons or some shit, I'm going to be drunk.
Yeah, I'm getting hammered.
Fuck it. Yeah. In fact, does anyone have any hard drugs? I've never done cocaine or heroin before. Let's do it. You know? Does anyone have any meth? Crack? Let's go. I mean, I've got about half an hour left on this planet. Whatever. You know? So maybe that's why Rich is obnoxious. He's high on 12 different drugs and he's drunk. He's like Johnny Depp at the end of Fear and Loathing. Like, there's some giant metallic snake in the sky. You know, but I don't know. But so that's what they do. They walk around and they get picked off. And really, you know what? The granddaddy of this movie would be House on Haunted Hill from the 50s with Vincent Price. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
So amazing. Really cool.
This movie could have used Vincent Price.
Ugh.
He was still around, but whatever. So now they're kind of... I haven't missed anything, right? No. I mean, they're just walking around, and now we start seeing more monsters and stuff, because Carol's the first kind of monster you see, besides whatever the hell that werewolf pirate man is. And that's really cool. She looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carol just keeps summoning different things.
Yeah.
Right? But I think Creon is kind of telling her, like, it's time to do another thing, because he's kind of speaking through her, I guess, with the weird voice that they do. Yeah, so they kind of have his voice sometimes, but it seems like the Ouija board has all the options of the monsters you can summon. Like, when you see the monsters come out, you often, right before, sometimes right after, you'll see that kind of monster was on the Ouija board and that the pointer pointed to it. Yeah. So I think after she's running around, everybody's like, oh my God. And so, like, they're all arguing and stuff. And so then Peter and Megan and Rich, the annoying guy, go upstairs. And Duke's like, fuck you guys. You know, like, he wants to go outside first. And Peter's like, no. They don't want to come in here. Which is like, well, you're like, you don't say that in a horror movie. Although he's right, because this movie never got finished, and then they finished it later, so they didn't even do a part where the zombies get in. But I bet they would have. Anyways, so Duke and his lady, Linda, are like, we're going to go check downstairs. And then Adrian, the British lady, and her horrible actor husband, David, stay kind of chilling in one room. Well, we'll wait here. So I think the first people we follow are Duke and Linda down to the basement, right? Yeah. Like, Linda's laying down on the floor. I don't know why. She was scared by something, so she just starts laying down on the floor. And then Duke's like, all right, let's fuck. It's like, dude, this basement's disgusting. Yeah, no. Like, dude. And then he has this, like, old bag. He's like, you could rest on this. She's like, no. He throws a sheet over his head like he's a ghost. He's like, I'm the horny ghost. I'm Duke the horny ghost. It's like, what the fuck is the matter with this guy? And then they realize they're in like a wine cellar. And some of the wine he tries, it's obviously very old. She's like, it's going to taste like vinegar. He's like, you don't know anything. Oh, why does his taste bad? She's like, okay. Oh, why is she even with this guy? Why am I with stupid? I know, right? With the way she looks in a sweater, she could get anybody. Anyway. No shit, and he's not even that attractive. Like, come on. No, he's a fucking goon. He's a chudhead. He's totally, yeah. And now we talk about this. So, they get attacked by mudmen, right? fart demons.
Okay, so here's the thing, is they make a ton of fart noises. Yes, they're these muddy guys that make a ton of fart noises. So
Dying. Like, are they really fart? I actually turned it off and on again because I didn't think it was, like, really happening, that was the fart noises.
Well, and here's the thing, they make a lot of fart noises and it's never remarked upon.
No.
And they make so many fart noises that you
so
think
loud.
there's going to be a joke. You think afterwards, and it's really loud and very prevalent the entire time that they're on screen, fighting all these, fighting Duke and Linda. And it's like, you think like when it's done, someone's going to be like, oh, they smell terrible too, or some reference. And there's nothing.
No.
And then in these notes about how they, started the movie, then finished it later on, right? So the second time when they finished it, they hired a guy named Brian O'Hara to create flatulent sound effects for the Muckmen, which everybody else and the rest of the production crew disliked, but they kept him in there because that was the guy that liked the fart sounds was the guy with the money. So,
I mean, hey, it made me laugh. I was not expecting it, and the creatures really weren't doing things to make fart noises.
No, I think the idea was because mud makes like squelching sounds.
Yeah, I guess like if you put your fist in a bunch of mud.
Do you remember Gak?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gak made fart noises. Okay, and so I think it's that sort of idea.
Okay.
Now, this was a little bit before Gak, maybe, but like it was this weird toy you could buy, but it's just weird goop. So when you smush it all together, it makes fart noises. And so I think that might be part of it. I think Silly Putty could make fart noises too. So, But again, they make the fart noises so much that you think there's going to be a thing about it, and there's not. But now we know why. They were added in well after they shot that scene with Duke.
That's crazy.
Years later.
That is bonkers.
Isn't that so weird? Anyway, so these mud guys are attacking them, and then they like, the wine. And I'm not even quite sure what happened, like why this works.
I don't either. I just went, oh, they figured it out.
Yeah, okay. The wine drowns the mudmen, and they're dead. Okay, so now we're moving on. I guess. Whatever.
Did they become like steam or something?
Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't either. It made no fucking sense.
Yeah. In the meantime, now that all this is happening, a couple of people have killed. Well, now Creon has enough power, or whatever, that his wife that he's keeping alive in a coma, whatever. You know what I thought? It was kind of like Mr. Freeze. Oh, shit. I talked about Batman again. But it is very much, that's the story of Mr. Freeze, is he has his wife he keeps alive, and he's always he's robbing banks and shit to try and fund his research to bring his wife back to life. So it's so crazy how that happens.
That should be our fucking podcast tagline. Urnfullapopcorn. Oh shit, I talked about Batman again.
Urnfullapopcorn, a free-form horror movie discussion that will inevitably discuss Batman. Although, here's the deal. I'm only like 4 episodes away from finishing Batman 66, which I've been watching for like 6 months. So,
oh man, might not have Batman on the brain as much.
Yeah, as much.
That's so.
But
funny,
anyways,
though.
So he brings the girl back to life, and his wife comes back to life, and he's like, "Now we can be together." And she's like, "I don't want to be with you."
Yeah, I had a feeling. I went, she's gonna open her eyes and go, "Ugh, dusty, crusty, old nasty man. I don't want to be with you. I'm a beautiful woman."
Yeah, but she didn't want him before. Like, she never did. And so that's what I thought was clever. It's like, oh, because, yeah, you could wake up and be gross. Now you're old and I'm still young. I'm going to go find somebody else. But no, like, she never wanted him. And then she says, like, she drank poison. She killed herself to get away from him. And they find a body in the cellar of some other woman who killed herself to get away from him.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, how long has he been doing this? And then, well, you kind of realize how long at the end. Because there's so many dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. But so he is a magical gaslighting incel. Because he's like, well, you have to be in love with me because I did all this.
I didn't ask you to do this.
Exactly. And he's like, well, I decided to do all this, and so because I have, entitled expectations, you have to, like, be with me, is basically what it is.
Such a creep.
A fucking bastard. Yeah. But that's total incel gaslighting bullshit. And it's like, we come upon this in so many horror movies, but yeah, another gaslighting, abusive, and manipulative dude. He's, like, trying to talk her into it.
She has tried to kill herself. What part of that tells you that she wants to be with you?
Yeah, and why would you do this? Why not just like, you know what? If you're a crazy wizard, like make a wife, make a Bride of Frankenstein wife or something. Like make a golem wife, right? Like animate one of your mudmen, turn them into a hot chick and marry them.
Or he doesn't have a spell that he can't enchant her into like loving him. Maybe he just likes fucking killing people at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's when she runs away, I think initially, is because he's like, don't you want to meet our son? And she's like, what are you talking about? This is actually really fucked up.
It is, yeah.
She's like, huh? What do you mean our son? He's like, we have many children.
Yeah.
Like, what did you fucking do?
So he like was impregnating her while she was in a coma, basically.
Yeah, he was raping her while she was in a coma.
Yeah, he was raping her. And so she's been raped like many times, apparently.
So that's not his familiar. That's like her son.
Right.
Because then she sees him and he's like creepy, gray skin, saber-tooth teeth demon child.
She runs off. She's in some sort of cellar and a really awesome, here's another awesome creature. This awesome like old lady vampire thing attacks her. Like that thing is really cool, but I don't understand what happened.
I know. I went, what? What is this thing?
Yeah.
What? Why is this here?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But it's awesome looking.
Yeah, it's really awesome looking. And at this point in the movie, it's in the middle, and there's way too much footage of just going between the different groups of people creeping around the house. It was like, okay, let's get... Because we know they can make cool monsters, so get some more monsters going.
One of my favorite things that made me laugh was when Duke and Linda come upstairs. They are walking by another set of stairs to go up, and there's a door that's connected to underneath the stairs, like a little storage thing. So the little demon sorcerer kid is sitting in there, but they don't realize he's in there, and Duke goes, what is this for, midget ghosts? And then he like slams the door. And then the kid's like, what the fuck? Call me a midget? It made me laugh because they did a close-up of the kid's face. Like,
for those younger than me and Shandi, the kind of room she's talking about is the room where Harry Potter lived.
Yeah, under the stairs.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah. And Duke is such a prick. And so they're like walking around and they eventually catch up with the other people. But meanwhile, upstairs, they're in a room and I forget what they see that makes them leave. Do they see something creepy? But they leave the room and Rich gets stuck in there.
Oh, because Carol, I think Carol's in there.
Oh, they hear her somewhere else and they're going to go find her.
Yeah, and then he gets like shut in that room and then the little window and the door goes up and they can't see him anymore and they're like, let's go try to find another way into the room.
Yeah, and they just ditch him and he's just kind of there for a while because the filmmakers are like, I can't hang out with this guy.
It's like, did they just forget about some of the characters?
No, I think they needed a break from working with that actor. They're like, you take the day off because you are fucking annoying and we're going to do some other stuff. But actually, so that actor did the most work after this.
Really?
That actor has 39 some odd credits. His name was Peter Yasillo Jr. And he had a lot of bit parts in TV shows and stuff. And like a Steven Soderbergh movie and some other stuff. So he worked and he passed away in 2017. So did the lady who played Isabel the Bride, which is weird. But anyways, he actually worked quite a bit. And Adrian did too. The woman who played Adrian is the only one who's... So when you look up Spookies the movie and go to the Wikipedia article, the only actor whose name is a hyperlink is Charlotte Alexander, the woman who played Adrian, right? So she's the only one who has a page. She probably made it herself. But yeah, she was in a good amount of movies, but Spookies was the second to last movie she did. And then she's still around. I don't know what she does.
She smoked a lot of cigarettes in this.
She sure did. So this is right around the time when we come back to them. And now Adrian and David are in a different room on the main floor of the house, even though they said they would wait in the lobby area. But now they're in some other room arguing. And this is where the guy playing David's acting is just atrocious. Because, like, this is where they try and give him some dramatic things to say. And he's like, you just say no to anything I say. And then he, like, finds some liquor. He's like, I'm going to drink this. Don't drink it. You just don't want it because it's not your idea.
She's like, you don't even drink, you dummy.
And just like Duke in the cellar, he drinks it. He's like, this is terrible. She's like, yeah, fucking men. I mean, Jesus Christ. You know? These fucking guys. Yeah, it just sucks listening to the actor who plays David talk. So, thankfully, so then they cut to some of the other characters. I forget what's going on. But then when they cut back to Adrian and David, they're in bed. And we have previously seen this little guy, this little creepy thing, which kind of looks like the Fiji mermaid, right?
Yeah, the text you sent me, I went,
yeah.
His face. So good. It's very detailed.
Yeah, it's a cool little creature. And so they keep cutting around these different characters having interactions. So at some point, then they cut back to Adrian and David, and they're in bed, and David's asleep. Adrian realizes, he's dead, because this little guy fucking killed him.
I've been eating them.
Yeah, numbers. He loves the taste of poor thespianship. So then he chases Adrian around for a while.
That's a fun scene when she's fighting him off.
It is fun. It reminded me of something like Puppet Master. Like a little bastard is kind of chasing this lady around and biting her on the ankles, you know?
Yeah, because there's some stop motion animation in this
Definitely.
movie, which was not expected, but very delightful.
Yeah.
And done really well.
Yeah, most of the effects and makeup are awesome. And it's kind of like why you would watch this, because there's a lot of them. And I mean, the story, I don't even know what the story is, because they couldn't ever really get it together, so...
And a lot of these creatures, there's electricity involved for some reason. It's because he's a sorcerer.
I guess there's like a red electric thing that happens, and then you start turning into stuff.
Yeah, and then there's like zaps happening.
Yeah, that's when that woman's face melts. It's because of the red lightning.
That was stop motion, right?
Yeah, and that's Adrian's face that melts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so eventually she gets away from the little bastard. Yeah, she's in the hallway, and then David comes back. And he's like, Adrian, come with me. She's like, I've been looking for you. And then he turns into this awesome monster. And I'm like, why did the worst actor get to be the best looking monster?
No fucking shit.
That monster that he turns into looks awesome. He's like all tentacly. He's like a Cthulhu kind of creepy Black Lagoon kind of thing. He's cool. He looks awesome.
Yeah.
And he has the lightning power that then melts his wife's face. And... you guys you hear me talk about him all the time. Eventually we'll get to one of his movies, maybe next month. Lucio Fulci would be proud of the melting face, because that's the kind of shit he does. And the way Rich dies is also a very Fulci-esque death. The thing that happens to Rich's face. So her face melts, her husband's this crazy-ass monster. Meanwhile, so Duke and Linda meet up with Pete and Megan again. And they're like, Rich is stuck in this room. We're trying to help him. We think we know where Carol is. And then for some reason... Why? Can you tell why?
Why?
Duke's like, don't tell me what to do. And he calls Megan a stupid bitch.
Oh, that's right.
Because she wants to do something. He's like, you stupid bitch. So I'm with Peter. I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to fucking punch you now. Because, yeah, come on. Don't call that lady a bitch.
Yeah, and then... Duke throws another chair.
Yeah. And then they start fighting for a long time.
Oh, the big old stupid fight scene.
Yeah. And this is when it's like, Peter's like maybe useful? Because he's hardly done anything the entire movie. And he's actually holding his own in a fight against Duke. And then they end up fighting in this room where there's a very obviously something's going to happen with a statue there. There's this big statue of the Grim Reaper. And it comes to life and kills Duke.
Yeah.
And that's when Peter's like, okay, let's get some weapons and go kick some ass. Or whatever. And now let's go back to what happens with Rich. So we mentioned the demons show up on this Ouija board. But another thing that is actually cool about this movie is the way that the bad guy Creon is controlling everything is also through a chessboard that he has.
Oh, yeah.
Creon and Corda, his son, the weird little guy in the brown robe, are playing chess. And so... when they move the pieces around, it makes stuff happen upstairs in the house. So
yeah, and then the weird familiar guy's always looking from outside, checking to see if they actually get killed.
I don't really know his purpose. So if they don't get killed, he kills them, or what?
I think he just goes and reports back to Creon.
That's so weird. Why don't you get someone who can talk? Weird. Someone who doesn't wear spurs so that there's not a chance that people will hear him. What? And also, someone with 2 hands that can open the doors. What the fuck? This guy's a terrible spy. He probably drools, too. Because he's a cat, tiger, dog, wolf, pirate man.
Cowboy man.
What the fuck? Anyways, but it is cool that they have these, like, little pieces. So then he, like, moves the pieces, and so now the Reaper is attacking, and it kills Duke. Which, I mean, it just kind of, like, waves the scythe, and you see some blood, and then Duke's dead. You don't really get much else happening with him, right? Is there a cool death scene for Duke?
Not really.
No. And then Peter says to the other girls, let's go. And he dives through a door. And it's like, so he's suddenly awesome? Like, now he's fucking Indiana Jones? When did this happen? You know what I mean?
I wrote down, Peter jumping through the door was sick.
Yeah, dude. Why is he like a sweet fighter hero action man now? Like,
yeah,
what?
He's like, let's get weapons. And now I'm fucking throwing myself through a fucking wooden door.
Yeah. What?
And then it made me actually laugh how they killed the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, how did they do? Oh, yeah. Let's get to that in a second, though. Because let's go back to Rich. Let's be done with it. Because Rich is almost done being a topic of discussion.
Almost.
So Rich is still stuck in this goddamn room, drinking his beer, which, again, we agree with that strategy.
Yes, we do.
Then Creon on the chessboard is like, now it's time for this or something. I forget what he says. But suddenly this, like, beautiful Asian woman appears in, like, some kind of interesting traditional garb and is like, Rich, I know where your friends are. I'm stuck here, too. Follow me. And do you remember why he decides to trust her?
Because she calls him by his actual real name. She called him Adam. I know your friend's Adam. He's like, you know my name?
Yeah, which is weird because his name is Rich. So is Rich a nickname? Like,
I think Richie is a nickname.
Or his middle name he goes by? Who knows?
Who knows at this point?
Yeah, whatever. So she says Adam, and he's like, you know my name. And then so everything's cool. Like, he's just going to do whatever she says. Okay. To me, not enough evidence to leave your beer drinking situation and go follow this woman.
But she is very pretty.
She is pretty, that's true. And Rich is confirmed to be just a goofy, horny 80s man, like they all are, you know, so whatever. But it doesn't work out. And one of the effects that's not good is this big fake spider that lands on him. It's just kind of this big dumb spider thing.
Like somebody threw it.
Yeah, it just throw a toy on him is what it is. And so then he gets stuck in this spider web, and then the cool effects start.
Still holding his beer.
Still holding his beer, because he's a man of principles. But so he's stuck in the spider web, and then tell us what happens, because these effects are cool.
Oh, man. There's a lot of, like, heads splitting open and, like, peeling open. Whoa.
This is the best one.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I went, oh, she's going to be like a spider lady.
Yeah.
How cool. And then, like, the arms start coming out on the sides, and then the head is huge.
Yeah. But first, like, she goes from pretty lady like a goblin lady, kind of like what Carol turned into. And then that head gets bigger. And then, then it keeps growing, and she gets the arms and stuff.
Yeah, and then, like, her mouth was getting all, like, juicy.
Yeah, and spidery. And basically, when her head splits open, don't some spider eyes kind of come out? I feel like I saw that.
Yeah. Oh, it was so neat.
Yeah, it's a very cool effect. And she sucks his blood out and, like, sucks everything in his body out. And so you see Rich's face just kind of deflate and cave in.
Wasn't there, like, a thing that popped out of, like, the spider lady's stomach and, like, came into him?
Like an umbilical cord or something, right?
Yeah, it was neat. I was not expecting that at all. Because they did, like, a close-up of her mouth, and it was getting all, like, wet and, like, maybe supposed to be spider webby. So I thought she was going to, like, shoot something out of her mouth at him. But then that was cool. I went, oh, sucked everything out of his entire body.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his face caves in.
That was fucking rad.
Good job. So they have some pretty, like, horrific gore stuff that happens occasionally, which is interesting.
Yeah. Seems like spent, like, a lot more time on the creatures and the effects and stuff more than they did the acting and the story. Yeah, they spent more time as in any. Yeah, no, they definitely spent more time on that stuff for sure. That seems to be what they cared about.
Which, I mean, that's the thing about 80s horror movies. And like we were talking about earlier, you probably know more of these kind of movies than me. But I've still seen a lot. And what I love about the horror boom in the 80s, that even like a low-budget, dumb movie, and this movie's independently produced too, but every low-budget, dumb, independent movie still had awesome effects. Like, there was just a big boom in that specific part of the industry. So even like the dumbest movie, which this is the dumbest movie.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. But were you able to find anything about the special effects team or like guys?
Yeah, I got their names, but it's not anybody I recognized. One of them has a hyperlink name, which means you can find some info. But the creature makeup effects were created by Gabe Bartalos, Arnold Gargulio, Jennifer Aspinall, Al Magliechetti, John Dodds, and Vincent Guastini, and others helping in various capacities. So John Dodds you can click on, and it says he may be best known for designing and creating the facial appliances for the stage production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. So he also did independent horror films like Night Beast, Deadly Spawn, which is a famous one. I haven't seen it, but My Demon Lover. But he did do some work for bigger movies under Dick Smith. Dick Smith was pretty famous. He did like Poltergeist, Ghostbusters, Death Becomes Her, some other stuff. So this guy worked on some of that stuff.
Cool.
So he's went on to do more work. Some of these other people, I don't know. Another interesting thing was the movie, like when they shot more scenes, those were written by Joseph Burgund, which is a pseudonym for a woman named Anne Burgund.
What?
So a woman wrote like all the Creon stuff, which kind of is awesome because that means a woman came up with that whole idea of him keeping Isabel against her will, which I like. Because if a dude wrote it, it'd just be like she wakes up and she loves him and now they're both bad guys, That's totally what would happen. You know what I mean? But a woman is able to like, you know what? I think fuck this guy, Fuck this guy. Nobody fuck this guy.
No.
But so back to the story. Most people are dead now. And Peter and Linda and Megan are what's left. And they're getting chased by the Grim Reaper statue that killed Duke. And it's awesome. And so they're getting chased around the house. Tell us more, Shitty. I love this shit. This is great.
Well, I liked how the Grim Reaper also had the saber-toothed tiger teeth.
Yes! Why did he have that? He's a statue and the Grim Reaper.
That's why I was like, are all these people from, like, that period of time on Earth when there were saber-toothed tigers?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, it's weird.
Or is that just, like, they are saber-toothed tigers, but have taken on human form for some weird... I don't know. My mind was just...
Yeah.
Not really paying attention to a lot of the acting, so...
Well, I'm glad nobody had loafers on, because then we never get off of it.
We hear about that, I'm surprised. But yeah, because I wasn't paying attention to much of the acting, so my mind was just kind of trying to come up with why the hell a lot of this stuff was going on.
Yeah, the dialogue is often useless in this movie.
Uh-huh. But he had cool glowing red eyes, which I thought was neat. But yeah, weren't they chasing them out on the roof?
Yeah, that's why I was trying to let you talk about it. So he kills Duke and chases them out of the room, and then Peter's like, this way! And they also at this point have some axes that they never use. And the Grim Reaper chases them out under the roof. And I'm not even... You said you want to talk about how he dies, so please do it.
Oh, yeah. Because he puts his staff up to Peter, and they're kind of gripping at it together and going back and forth, and he just kind of chucks him off the side of the roof.
Yeah, Peter chucks the Grim Reaper off the side of the roof.
Yeah. The way he fell was funny, but then once he hit the ground, there was just this big explosion.
Yeah. Like, it was great. That's another thing I was saying how 80s movies often, even the cheap ones, got to have cool special effects. Everybody also got explosions, and I don't know why. Like, that's a good, big, fiery explosion.
So, again, as I was saying a minute ago, my brain was just going, what the fuck is happening? And I went, okay, so we got a sorcerer, saber-tooth tigers, we have electrical charges and electricity. Mm-hmm. Now I have explosions. So is the sorcerer putting his electrical magic shit through the Ouija board? So, like, the things that are coming to life to kill all these people are just, like, actual, like, electrical charges and that they're not, like, real.
Sure, that could be it.
And that's why it exploded. But it was just the way that the Grim Reaper fell Almost like throwing like a dummy off the side of a building.
Yeah, which is what they did, I'm sure. I want to give you some advice because you're my friend and I care about you. Never give more thought to a movie than the filmmakers did. And I think at this point it's very clear. When that Grim Reaper explodes, I didn't think about anything. I thought, well, they didn't think about this either. They just knew they wanted an explosion.
It was really good.
You know, it was great. Yeah, it's great. And you're not expecting it.
I laughed.
Which is, so, you know, it's funny. It might have even been funny on purpose. You know what I mean? Because it is funny that he explodes. Like, why the fuck does he explode? Because even all that stuff you just said would not. No, electricity does not explode. Like, no. Like, he's rocks. Like, there's still no. Even with all the stuff you said, there's no reason for a statue to create a fireball. It's great, though.
But Timmy, where he fell was not where, like, the explosion happened.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice that.
He fell so close to the house, but then they pan out and the explosion was, like, out far away from the house. That's why I laughed, because I went, what the hell just exploded? And then I realized, oh, it was the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, it's supposed to be him, but it was just, yeah. I did not pick that up. That's great. And maybe there's some ineptitude there. Maybe it was done on purpose. Who knows? But it's just wonderful that it happens. And again, this is why I don't call movies bad. Because that's great. A lot of this movie is not what I would call well done. A lot of this movie, like I said earlier, does not seem to have enough care put into it. And then, as we said, we found out that it's because it was kind of split in half. But there's still going to be moments of brilliance in almost anything that gets made because it's so hard to make something that someone's going to be working hard and making something funny happen. So yeah, that was fantastic. And then the rest of it is very fucking confusing.
Yeah. Well, because he's like, we're going to figure out how to beat this guy.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll find out something that he doesn't like realize.
Yeah. It's like, what? Okay.
We're going to go back down to that first dead body that we saw.
Yeah. And they go back down there. And Carol's there with the Ouija board thing, and things get crazy. And then Peter and Megan, Peter and Megan and Linda, encounter Carol, and I'm not really sure what happens here. But so, are you, like, what, how does this start? Like, a bunch of weird shit starts to happen. He's
like, oh, we're going to use our weapons, and then she, like, sets them on fire, I guess.
Yeah. So they never use the axes they have. She sets them on fire.
And now they're kind of like entranced by her. And so they're coming towards her.
Yeah. And then we got to Creon at his game board with his little son. And he's like, now you are going to do it, son.
Yeah.
We don't need Carol anymore. You're going to control this. So then Carol's head fucking explodes. Another head that splits open. And this one's really cool too. It's like light and shit.
Yeah, it was glowing. That was really neat.
Yeah, so the little boy is like making all this crazy shit happen. So my reaction was, oh no, they've contracted Beetlejuice wedding disease.
Oh, I wrote the same thing.
Did you write it? Because that's what happens. Peter and Megan start turning old. They fall down.
Yeah, I went, whoa, they turned old like in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, like what the hell? And there's no explanation why. And we don't know what's happening to Linda. And then there's a corpse holding this little vial of potion. And old Peter, who, by the way, Peter's already old, but now he's older. Older Peter, like there's no way Megan should have been fucking that guy. Anyway, so older Peter eventually makes his way over to this corpse and kind of rips the corpse's arms off because the corpse tries to come alive. And again, that also has like a cool creature face and stuff. But then he takes the potion out of his hand, and then we don't know what happens.
No.
That's the last time we see them.
Yeah. What?
So what the fuck happens? Like, we don't know.
I was thinking that the little boy was sucking their life force out.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is what is supposed to be given to Isabel.
Right. And the rest of the movie is rapey. And it bothered me, and it's way too long.
Way too long.
Way too long. Because then the next time we see Isabel, she's going back to... I keep saying Freon, but that's a chemical in air conditioners. Creon. She goes back to Creon. And she, like, kind of decides to go back to him.
Yeah, she's like, I know what I should have done.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, what, kill him? Haven't you tried that before?
Right. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she just killed herself. Because she's a nice lady. She was not going to murder people. That's another thing, is, like, a lot of these guys, these awful, emotionally abusive, manipulative people, are evil. And a lot of times the people that get stuck and trapped in the relationships with them get that way because they're not evil. They're trying to do the right thing and be nice to people. You know what I mean? So they get taken advantage of. So anyways, but she decides to put an end to it. And she goes in there, and the first thing she says is like, you've been torturing me. He's like, no, you've been torturing me. I'm like, this fucking guy!
With your beauty.
Yeah, fuck you, man. That's when I wrote down, no, you are the one who's torturing me because I made all these preparations out of entitled and baseless expectations that never once considered what you would want. So you're torturing me. You know? Like, fuck you, dude.
You won't love me. You're torturing me. Fuck off.
She basically says, okay, fine, I'll marry you. And he's like, say you love me forever. I love you forever. And then she stabs him in the head.
And his third eye. That's what I thought.
Is that what that is? Oh, it's in the vein. You're right. It's right there in that big pulsing vein, which is probably his third eye. My lizard has one too. It's a parietal third eye. Maybe Creon could also detect eagles. That's why bearded dragons have it. So anyways, she stabs him in the head. And so things go crazy now, apparently.
I went, okay, great. He's dead. Why didn't we do this before? But great, we did it now. Now you can escape and live out the rest of your life away from this fucking creep.
Yeah. Nope.
No. Somehow that, like, summons... like, his death summons every person that this dude has killed.
Every zombie, including zombie Uncle Mike.
Yep.
And they all chase her for a really long time. And there's a lot of instances of her getting grabbed by them and they're pulling at her clothes and stuff. And it's all very rapey and disturbing.
I kept expecting her to get pulled down.
Yeah.
And then she would get away. And
right.
then they get her again and they're pulling at her and pulling her down and they're swarming on her. And I went, okay, this is how the movie's going to end. Is like she's going to become a zombie and like live with them.
Right.
But no, then she gets away again.
Right. And let's stop right there because now I want to go back to what we're talking about very early in this episode about movie boxes.
Okay.
And the covers of movies. First of all, the most famous person involved in any of this is the guy who drew the movie cover is Richard Corbin, a very famous horror comic book artist. He did Heavy Metal. He did Den. I think he did Tales from the Crypt probably. Vampirella. All sorts of good stuff. He was a famous dude. Anyway, so he drew the cover for Spookies. The cover for Spookies has a screaming guy's face with a hole in his head, which, okay, after you've seen the movie, you understand that that's Creon, right? The other image is a busty blonde lady in a white dress, and the white dress is getting torn off by zombies. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the rare 80s horror movies where the shit on the cover actually happens.
Yep.
And so because of the cover, once I realized, oh shit, the thing for the cover is happening, I thought it would get even more rapey that they would rip her clothes off.
Yeah.
You know, but it didn't go quite that far, but it's still pretty fucked up. It's weird. It's weird. It's creepy. I don't know why it's in there, and it's too long.
Yeah, they could have probably cut a good 7 minutes of that.
Dude, yeah, because it's like 10 or 12 minutes long. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, she gets away multiple times, and the final time she gets away, she kind of jumps over this little hill thing, and now she's in front of a garage, and there's a car there. And this guy comes up, and I was like, wait, was there another dude that we lost track of?
How far did she run? Is she like at somebody else's house now?
I know, yeah, and it's like a normal-looking guy. And he's like,
get out of my car.
Yeah, get my car. Let's get out of here.
Get out of my car.
Yeah, he's like, why are you in my car? She's like, oh, help me get away. So he drives the car and gets away.
Go. Well, my first thought when she got in the car, I was like, how does she even know what a car is?
That's what I thought.
She's from like Victorian times or something.
Well, doing the math, they mentioned like he's been there for 70 years and he's had her preserved for 7 years. So this movie's 1985. So that's 1915. So there were cars, but they didn't look anything like this. And you didn't start them with a key like that. You fucking cranked them. So how does she know? Yeah, that's a little, but whatever. You know, if we went over the rest of this movie with a fine-tooth comb, I'm sure we'd find other inconsistencies. But anyways, but yeah, I don't know why she knows that. But anyway, so she starts this car, the station wagon, and this guy's like, hey, that's my car. And he gets in, and she's like, help me. And of course, it stalls a couple times. So it's like, why? But anyways, so the car gets going, and they start driving away. And Isabel's like, I'm finally free. And then the guy says, in Creon's voice, "You're not free." And he turns towards her, and now it's the fucking werewolf, cowboy, pirate, dog, cat man.
Yeah, doesn't he say, like, "I've also always loved you," or
yeah,
like,
or something,
or some weird
in his
shit?
own voice? That's the only time he talks in his own voice, right? Yeah. So it's like
creeping from afar.
Yeah, dude. So they drive off, and then we go back to the thing that we saw at the beginning of the movie, which is the pulsing crypt thing, the pulsing grave marker, which is cool. And then Creon comes out of it, and he's laughing because he loves rape. So.
Jesus.
It was just a bummer to see this movie like be kind of rapey, you know? I didn't think it would go there.
No, me either. And I was like, oh no, he's not dead, damn it.
Yeah.
That's disappointing to me. I don't like that.
Oh, by the way, it was also directed by a woman, part of this. Interesting that it's so rapey.
I wonder who did which part.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I can probably tell you here, this note. She did do the ending. Huh, interesting. And that part was also written by a woman. So I think they were, you know, maybe trying to say something about that. But, you know, I mean, you could see it as them trying to say something about, like, these horrible manipulative relationships. And it's hard to get out of them, you know?
Or, like, child brides.
Yeah, you know, that kind of stuff. Which, you know, whitest kids, we tackle that subject. You are my child
bride.
Is it child bride? I am your father groom. Yeah, God. So that's Spookies. And here's another note about it. Here's another thing. So one of the guys that was involved in the first part of the movie, when they first shot it and wrote it, a couple years ago, 2024, he said he was trying to get the money together to do a sequel.
Well, it is set up at the end for a sequel, right? With Creon.
Because they drive off with her and Creon's still alive? Yeah, sure.
But poor Peter and Megan and Linda are just, like, still in the house. I guess they're still growing old.
Yeah. Are they dead or what? They might be dead. You know, maybe they died.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what that was happening. It's so confusing. So really, Spookies, I would recommend it because it's like we've been talking about. A lot of fun creature effects and makeup effects. Lots of cool stuff. It is rapey, but not right away. And not like directly, here's someone getting raped, but just like situation and like the kind of vibe at the end. And so, you know, it's kind of makes it not as fun to watch, but that's not till the end. But there is fun stuff happening. And, you know, Rich, the quote unquote funny guy, he is entertaining. I kind of hated him, but like what Shandi pointed out, when I realized that he's just drinking beer and has a shirt of himself, I was like, all right. Whatever this fucking idiot's deal is, I approve. You know? So, I mean, what would you say? People, it's still worth watching.
I think if you're into special effects and stop motion animation, I'd want to watch it again just to see those again.
Yes.
But everything else, I think.
Yeah, the Incel Warlock could go without. Good name for a band, though. Good name for a band. Incel Warlock. Incel Warlock, riding through the night. Yeah, so that's that movie. And I guess we're done talking about it. I mean, we kind of said all there is to say, right?
I think so.
Thank you to Jordan Cooper for writing our theme song. Thank you to Trevor LeGarrette for our new stop motion thing, which is awesome. It includes Jordan's theme song.
Yay.
Thank you to Shandi. Thank you to me. Thank you to Spookies. Sort of. Okay. Oh yeah, socials.
If you'd like to join our Patreon, please do. It's only $2.99. It's not a whole bunch. Go to our Instagram, Urnfullapopcorn. Listen to our podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our website, Urnfullapopcorn.com. And if you want buttons and stickers and t-shirts and shit, we have those available if you want one. I'm a fart monster.
fuck? I just want you to know that Discord is muting most of that, but I know what you're doing.